Greetings from Los Angeles County. This is Daisuke, and I very much hope that this video finds you well and in very good spirits wherever you are in the world. And I must say that unfortunately, I think I'm not necessarily finding myself in the best of spirits, although I'm trying to look on the bright side of things. But it looks like apparently what has happened was today, I think I discovered that a package that was sent to me was stolen from my front doorstep. And so, let's see here. There was the box, but the box was opened. And unfortunately, you see here that the box was open, and so the contents were taken out, and the box remained. So the contents were taken out of the box remained. So I think I'm finding myself to be the victim of this circumstance. So that is filling me up with a little bit of sadness, especially because it was an item that a friend of this channel and a friend of mine reached out to me on Instagram, and he wanted to send me a gift. And I told him it wasn't necessary, and you didn't have to. It was totally not necessary at all. But he was very kind to insist that he wanted to send me this gift. And so I gave him the details to send it, and he had the shipping number and everything. And so it was a gift that, and he was very excited, and he was texting me and asking, "Oh, has it arrived yet?" And I said, "It hasn't arrived, but I'm looking forward to receiving it." And this was last week. So now the weekend happened, and now it's the beginning of the new week. And my dear friend once again messaged me and asked me, "Has the package arrived?" And I told him, "No, it hasn't arrived yet." And then he said, "Well, that's strange, because according to my tracking information, it should have arrived last week." And I thought that was a very strange thing, because I didn't receive it. But just doing a little bit of walking around my front area, I discovered this open box, this kind of disheveled looking open box, this half-opened open box, which I just showed. And then I looked closely, and I noticed that, oh, lo and behold, it had my name and address on it, as well as the address of the sender. And when I opened the box, it seems like nothing was left inside except for some bubble wrap. So apparently, I don't want to assume the worst, but I have to think that someone probably took the box while it was on the front doorstep and opened it, and just took the remains and threw the box away or something. So it was. I feel very bad for my friend, because this was a gift that he very kindly took the time to package and send to me. And I don't know what the gift was, but I told him immediately about it, and he was very encouraging. He was, of course, very upset as well, but he was very encouraging. And I just wanted to extend to him, I'm sorry that this had to happen like this. Very much so. I feel very bad and very sad, in fact, that this had to happen in this way, especially with this gift that you took so much time to send to me like this. And I apologize. I'm not usually used to receiving gifts, and I'm still getting the hang of things here. But I wasn't quite sure when things would be arriving. And so, but I can assure you that I didn't see anything any day when I was around the house, so I wasn't aware of anyone. I didn't hear one knock on the door or anything like that, so I wasn't quite aware of when some things had arrived. And when I drove in and out of the garage and drove past the doorway, I'd never noticed any package on the ground, at least as far as I remember. So this news came as a bit of a surprise and shock to me. When I discovered, or when I tried to piece together what had happened based on how my friend then later reached out to me. So this makes me feel very sad. So I'm very sorry to my dear friend who took the time to do this, but he was very courteous and very much understanding. And he said, these things happen. So and he was very much looking on the bright side of things. And so I want to say thank you very much, my dear friend. You know who you are. And so we will meet again, and we will, of course, talk again very soon. And my deepest apologies to you. And again, I suppose one has to say that these things happen. One has to take care, even when one doesn't know it. These things can happen. So I guess this is my encouragement to people out there, just to be sure that wherever possible, just look out for your belongings and look out for any packages that are sent to you, so that nothing like this happens to you as well. And I think perhaps in the grand scheme of things, I don't consider. I mean, I've just arrived in the U.S. I mean, I've lived in the U.S. before, but I know sometimes maybe these are how things go, perhaps. Although I must say too that this isn't necessarily something exclusive, I think, to this part of the world. I've had issues with packages when I was living in Japan, for instance. But it's kind of maybe somewhat of a sad or ugly reminder that not everyone in the world is as nice as one would like to believe. But this is something that makes one want to basically not feel worn down, but in fact just look on the bright side of things. And so this was something that my friend, when I told him about it, he was I think he was very shocked, as I was, but he was also saying, things happen, and don't worry, I'll figure something out. And so he was very kind about that. And also, too, I want to say that, in the grand scheme of things, especially with all the difficult stuff, the difficult things that are happening in the world at the moment, with many very terrible events that are happening at the moment, things that are really affecting people to a significant degree. Wherever, depending on what the part of the world one might find oneself, there might be some really serious or dire situation going on in terms of events or other types of natural or human-made disasters or the like, whatever the case may be. So considering the situations that are happening elsewhere in the world, something like this is very, 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 very small. It makes me, I think perhaps if one can look on the bright side of things, this can be a very, I think, good reminder. Well, first of all, we should be careful with our belongings and the like, but it's also a good reminder too that we have the most important things, our treasure, which is our family, friends, and loved ones. And as far as I can tell, no one has been affected in that way, thank goodness. So that's one thing. And also, this is again a very, 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 very small thing when compared to other serious difficulties that may befall one, depending on where one might find oneself in the world. So I completely understand that as well. So I consider this to be, in many ways, maybe a type of reminder to just take advantage of things while one has the energy and spirits, and to not let negative things get one down, and also be very grateful for what one has. And so I will try, therefore, to maintain that type of spirit going forward. Again, this is a very minor thing in the grand scheme of things. I get it. It is sad and a bit distressing, I will admit, but I will be sure to keep in mind the fact that, yes, these things do happen, and that one can just only take further care of oneself where possible. And that, again, this is also a reminder of let's be grateful for what we already have right now, and just be sure that everyone is safe and secure. So with that being said, my dear friends, I'm thank you very much. I've shared a little bit about this on elsewhere on Instagram, and so already a lot of people have been showing some really lovely words of encouragement and things like that. So thank you very much again. It's just something that happened. I must admit, my mood is not really I'm not really in the best of moods at the moment, if I to be perfectly honest. And I was going to make a video perhaps later today, but I'm perhaps not in the best of moods at the moment. So maybe I will forego making the video. And just maybe take it a little bit easy, and have just enjoy the meal that I was planning to have. Maybe watch a movie or something. Who knows? That might be a good thing to keep my mind off it. Watch a movie and the like. So maybe do that, or or just read up. I was actually in the middle of reading the great book. It's a really, really captivating book, which is The Killers of the Flower Moon. And so, in anticipation of many things, including the Scorsese film, which is supposed to be released, I think, later this year. So I might just try to. I'm almost finished with that, actually. So, really, really captivating. If anyone is interested in reading, that's really, really suspenseful read, and so gripping, very gripping. But in any event, yes, I suppose, again, these things happen. Sorry to say, but these things happen. But at last, these things do happen. But as I mentioned before, I suppose it could be worse, and that one should be grateful for what one has, and just take care of the important treasure in life going forward. That being said, my dear friend, you took the time and patience and the money to put this together. So I feel very bad about this. And whoever did this, I don't know, I'm not sure, they're probably not watching this video or anything like that, but shame on you for doing this. This is really, this is totally not at all cool. Not at all cool, whoever did this. Not at all cool at all. I'm probably never going to find out who did this, but in the off chance that were ever to happen in my life, needless to say, that person is definitely not scoring any brownie points for me. That's for sure. So, but in any event, my dear friends, yes, thank you very much for your continued support of this channel and of me and of my dear friends and everyone who's expressed to me wanting to send me gifts and send me letters or messages or the like. Thank you very much for that. I don't know, I've just moved to Los Angeles, so I haven't quite figured out all the logistics. I'm not sure. Maybe if people are interested in sending me gifts and the like, I might have to set up maybe a P.O. box or something just to be on the safe side. But I'll figure out those details. Although, it's there's a lot of things involved with that, and so I'm still trying to figure out a few things in terms of the move. It has been about a month since I came from Japan to California. So I'll be honest, there are still a number of things I still have to take care of, and while it's been fun, it's been a very exciting adventure. It's also been quite stressful and quite hectic because I've had to take care of a few things, certain expenses I've had to take care of, and so it's been stretching my wallet and my budget somewhat. But we did make preparations. We did take care of sorts of things, and I do want to make sure that this adventure is as fun and as full of life and energy especially for my wife and children as possible. So, thank goodness this wasn't anything to do with anything that my wife or kids had to maybe was something for them. It was something for me, but that doesn't take away some of the pain of this and some of the sadness of this, that's for sure. But that is yet another route for me to remind myself of what is very important. And this is also a reminder, too, of the wonderful bond I felt with my friend who sent me this. And when I spoke with him, I really felt the warmth and the welcoming in his voice and in his words. So if there is another silver lining to this, it's that this is yet another reminder of how wonderful my friend is and how understanding and caring he is. So I just want to say thank you very much. You know who you are, so thank you very much for that. Again, with every downside, there's always the possibility of looking on the bright side of things. And so thank you so much for this. I don't deserve this kindness and attention, but you display it all the same. So thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed. And to all of you, my dear friends, please continue to be happy and healthy and well, and please keep on watching a lot of great movies. I was actually I was actually watching the film Heat from 1995 with Robert De Niro, or Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, and that's about thieves and stealing, and so perhaps that was a little bit of a reminder about how maybe being in Los Angeles, because it's set in Los Angeles, and so maybe it's like another way of looking at the bright side of things. Maybe this is just another reminder of how close I am in reality to the real life world of heat. I'm driving on the same highways as Vincent Hanna and Neil Macaulay, and I'm driving around the same neighborhood. In fact, the train station that opens the film is really, really near. I think it's not so far from where I live, etc. So maybe this is yet another reminder, not only are the locations the same, but maybe some of the details in terms of the stealing and thieving are the same as well, perhaps. So that's maybe something I can keep my mind on in terms of putting a positive spin on these things. So yes, the world is closer to heat than I had perhaps first realized. But in that event, maybe that's might be a good way to look at it. Doesn't take away the fact that I think the person who did this really should be ashamed of themselves, but all the same, yes, this is kind of like heat, I suppose. So all I need now is a bit of a cool sort of synthesizer-like percussion beat music to fill the air, and then maybe have a nice coffee, joined by Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. That would be the day. That would be really cool. Right, because there's always a bad side and there's always a good side. As Robert De Niro's character says, there's a flip side to that coin. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So anyway, my dear friends, please chin up. Please keep on watching a lot of great movies, and I will talk to you again very, very soon. Cheers.